Good day and welcome to yet another analysis on the global briefing. We begin today with a standoff that is freezing the world's most critical maritime artery. In the high-stake theater of the Middle East, a ceasefire has been extended, yet the engines of war are still idle just off the coast. The White House has indefinitely prolonged a pause on kinetic military strike against Iran, but the quiet in the skies is overshadowed by a tightening grip on the seas. A full-scale United States naval blockade remains firmly in place, fundamentally transforming what was supposed to be a diplomatic off-ramp into a volatile maritime siege. The dynamics on the ground and on the waters are increasingly paradoxical. President Donald Trump signaling a desire for a comprehensive deal has granted Tehran more time to formulate a unified proposal, causing direct hostilities at the request of Pakistani mediators. Yet this olive branch comes wrapped in barbed wire. With Vice President J.D. Vance's anticipated diplomatic trip to Pakistan abruptly shelved, the immediate momentum for face-to-face negotiation has stalled. Washington claims this delay is due to internal fragmentation within Iran's regime, projecting from the briefing room that Tehran is too weakened to present a coherent negotiating posture. Iran, however, remains unyielding, declaring it will not engage in dialogue while American warships choke off its sovereign ports and economy. What we are witnessing is a profound clash of negotiating doctrine. President Trump is employing his trademark maximum pressure transactional approach, leveraging a devastating economic tool of the naval blockade, which is reportedly costing Tehran $500 million daily. To force a rapid sweeping capitulation, he views the blockade not as an act of war, but as the ultimate bargaining chip. Conversely, Iran's diplomatic posture is rooted in long-term endurance and resistance. Iran's strategy has historically relied on absorbing acute economic pain rather than negotiating under overt duress, calculating that the US lacked the political stamina for a permanent regional entanglement to Iran. To Iran, agreement to talk while their maritime board are besieged would be catastrophic projection of weakness. The economic and military implications of this ongoing blockade reverberate far beyond the Pakistan Gulf, creating shockwaves that are acutely felt when viewed through a Nigerian lens. For African economic powerhouses and energy exporting nations like Nigeria, this superpower standoff over a critical choke point is a double-edged sword. While skyrocketing global crude prices offer a theoretical revenue windfall for oil producers, the ensuing global supply chain disruption imports devastating inflation, disproportionately crushing developing economies that relies heavily on imported refined goods. It heightens a recurring geopolitical reality where conflict managed by the global north exert their steepest unspoken toll on the economic stability of the global south. Meanwhile, the immediate neighborhood watches with mounting dread. Gulf Arab allies are caught in an exacerbating diplomatic bind, while some may quietly welcome the degradation of Iran's military capabilities. They are acutely aware that a prolonged naval blockade without a diplomatic resolution is a powder keg. Their diplomatic economies rely on the very waterways currently contested by US destroyers and Iran speedboats. They fear that any indefinite unresolved ceasefire could easily shatter into a broader, uncontainable regional conflict, dragging their sovereign territories into the crossfire. Looking ahead, three distinct scenarios are catalyzing. The most optimistic is a diplomatic breakthrough where back-channel intermediaries secure a mutual easing of the blockade in exchange for Tehran's immediate return to the negotiating table. Alternatively, we see a prolonged greeding stalemate, a low-grade war of attrition where the ceasefire exists in name only and the global economy bleeds slowly. The most dangerous scenario, however, is a sudden spark, a miscalculation at the sea that violently shatters the truce and ignites an all-out regional conflagration. The guns may be quiet for now, but silence is not peace. And in the Strait of Hormuz, the water is rising. I rest my case on this analysis. Remember to leave a like and make sure you subscribe to Global Brief NG for more deep dives into geopolitics. Thank you for staying with me on this one. I'll see you in the next one. Stay blessed.